What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Thank you for stopping in. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you here. Before you head out, give the video a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have time, go ahead and leave me any type of comment you would like down below. I love hearing from everyone. So today we have a first impressions to do. Now, this is the OKnife Rubato 3. This is a loaner knife that was loaned into the channel, and it comes from our good pal Kev over at Lefty EDC. Greatly appreciate it, brother. I also have a couple other loaners from Kev, and that helps out tremendously. Like I've said before, we cannot buy every knife and be able to live a normal life. So getting loaners in is a huge help. It's just fresh content for everyone. It keeps the spending to a minimum. To get this knife in and review it, all it really costs is basically the shipping to the next person, which is just a few bucks. And to have the knife for a few days or a week or whatever it might be, that's well worth it. Because not every knife, some you like to check out, but you don't necessarily want to buy it. So off on a tangent already, only a minute into the video, but we do have the OKnife Rubato 3. This has a, it's about 2 and I'd say like 9/16 cutting edge, and then you are coming in, probably like 2 and 13/16 on the total, and then you are just over 6.5 at like 6 and 9/16. So it's like a medium to small knife, not real long. You have a decently tall blade. It's coming in there at like 15/16. And then the thickness of the handle with that little lump type deal included, about 7/8. So it's a pretty small profile. We'll go ahead and grab the old digits and give this away. It's pretty light. It's got aluminum scales. They have some milling pockets in there, as you can see there. That aids in weight relief. Feels pretty light. Yeah, coming in at like 2.9, give or take an ounce, probably 3 ounces to 2.9 ounces. So for ratios type people, which, as I've said in the past, I really don't care about that at all. Yeah, coming in right at 3 inches, so, and coming right in at 3 ounces. Ratios people will be happy. Now we're going to start a little different, as we just did. I'm going to get the things I don't like about it out of the way right away. First and foremost, the branding on the blade. I will continue to bitch about it until I don't see it anymore. Kaiser does it OKnife does it. Kubi does it. It's just almost a never-ending list of companies that feel like putting a big logo or a bunch of writing all over the blade somehow, some way looks good. And it doesn't. All we really need is the steel marking, which that could go anywhere. Flipper tab, inside here, like close to the scale. Hell, you could even do it on the top of the blade. You could do it, you know, in a finger groove or the choil. And then all we, you know, on the back, we don't need your guys' serial number. We don't need any of that. If you want to put the name of it, put it right next to the scale. And if you have a maker's mark or whatever, then that's cool. The maker's mark and the steel, completely fine. The name of the company and the name of the knife, we don't need it. So the whole free marketing idea and all that, it puts a bad taste in people like me, and I know there's plenty of other people who will not buy this knife specifically because of that, no matter how good it is. It just doesn't look good. You know, even if it's clean and centered and all of that, it just doesn't look good. So that is my main gripe of this knife. You know, I try to, like, look at this knife and imagine it not being there. The knife looks clean. That looks good. You know, you don't know. That's a good thing. You don't know what this is. The free marketing idea is stupid because take that off, and if somebody doesn't know what this is, that's even better because they're going to ask what it is, and they're going to have to search this knife, you know, search it up. You know, and that's just my opinion. If I saw this and it looked like this and somebody else had it, I'd say, "Hey, what is that?" You know, and they'll say, "Oh, that's the OKnife Rubato 3." Well, I'll pull out the phone and look it up, you know. But if I see that, I'm like, "Oh, it's an OKnife." Okay, you know, no need to go looking it up. But that's my main gripe with this knife. I've been over this thing with a fine-tooth comb because I don't know how long I'm going to have it. And I'll try to do a partial review on it because I'm not going to have it long. So I don't really know what to call it. Maybe just a overview. But otherwise, the blade is very well done. I like the coating. I like the blade shape. I like the steel choice, which is 154 cm. Great all around steel. I like the coating. It feels good. It looks good. I have no complaints about the coating or the steel choice. It doesn't have the best edge from factory that I've seen, you know, but it's pretty good. It's definitely good enough to, you know, put it to work right away. Could it be sharper? Yeah. But I give it like from factory, like a 7 out of 10, maybe 6.5 out of 10. Pretty good. Not that great though. So you have aluminum, like recessed honeycomb style scales. There is indents, you know, in every groove. It's not too textury. I would say it has just enough, especially when you bring your fingers around here. Feels pretty good. It's not too rough. It's not too slick. So I do like that. Man, that emblem bugs the hell out of me. They nailed the curves. They nailed the handle. It's pretty neutral. They nailed the coating, the steel choice. They nailed the lock choice, which is a crossbar lock. OKnife's version, Kaiser's version of the crossbar lock has a standard steel deep carry fold over clip. Works well, does well. It's not the best clip, but it's pretty good. It carries well. It carries pretty deep. You have a tiny little bit that will stick out, which I always say, uh, you know, that doesn't bother me one bit. Even, half of a thumb, just so you can pull it out, that really helps. And then there's a sense where you can just reach in your pocket and grab the clip and all and kind of just, But, if you need it real quick and you're fiddling with something or whatever, having that little bit of handle isn't bad, especially when it's so minimal. That would really help get it out. The thumb studs are done well. They're coned and stepped, which I really like. That aids in being very comfortable, which it's a thumb stud knife. That's the only way of deploying it. You put it on the knife, they should be comfortable. I don't want to hear they're trying to do something different or because we get these uncomfortable thumb studs that are just ridiculous. You don't even want to flick the knife more than 2 or 3 times, and then your thumb is starting to hurt. And I don't have pussy hands or fingers by any means. But, if you're making a thumb stud knife, it's just like a hole knife. You don't do the hole so that it's rough as hell and it hurts your finger every time you go to flick the knife. You want it like this. You want it nice and smooth, nice and clean, rounded over a little bit with just a little bit of grab. This is perfect. This is how it should be done right here. The Devo Knives Mash by Kev and Colin. Now here's a Kaiser. Very similar. Same exact studs. Now they OEM this Kaiser or this OKnife, but that doesn't mean OKnife wants them putting these studs on there. Now I've pretty much gotten rid of most of the things I would call uncomfortable. So I don't have any at all that I completely hate anymore. And I hate to do this because I love the knife and I love its brother, and I'm sure I love the oldest brother. Now, the TRM, Atom, and Neutron are an example of how you do not want to do thumb studs. You see how it's flat on the top and then they have it recessed around it, almost like a lid? That is not comfortable on your fingers. And that is a direct problem because they're trying to be different, which is, that's admirable. They want to do something a little different. And don't get me wrong, it looks good. But there's a reason why TRM themselves sell these rubber bands for the thumb studs. And there's a reason there's an aftermarket for rubber bands for thumb studs. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not that uncomfortable, but they are uncomfortable nonetheless. Without that rubber band on there, eventually my thumb would start to hurt. and I would, and not that I couldn't keep doing it, but it wouldn't be pleasurable. So, I love TRM. I love their knives, and I love that they're an American company. But if I could change one thing on their knives, that's what it would be. And I love thumb stud knives. But that's what I would, if I was them, redesign. Now I pulled one example of being different and it working out is here on this Spartan Harsey, or sorry, Aster. They do something a little different. If I pull 85 to 90% of my thumb stud knives out of my knife case, this is what they're going to look like. They're going to be coned and stepped, which aids in comfort. And that's why you see that time and time again, because it works and it's comfortable. It's aesthetically good to go. Might not be the best, but like this looks cool. It's like a geared thumb stud, and it's not, I can do that all day long. It doesn't bite into my finger. What kills you on this knife is that hat, that ridge. If I drag my thumb across it, that it digs into my thumb, and it does not in a good way. It actually, if you pushed hard enough, that would start to hurt really bad. And that's why they sell them bands. And I do have another example or two. The very first one I noticed was Cold Steel's line of knives that I have. They do this really cool cone and stepping. It's almost just it's a semi more exaggerated and bigger version of these, but they step it all the way down, and it's very comfortable. It doesn't, even the reverse flick. I could thumb flick this all day long. I don't know why we're off on this tangent, but now here's where TRM could have nailed it. If they wanted to do something flat like this, like they did, then they should have kept it flat with very shallow milling. Tucson nailed these thumb studs. They wanted to do something different, and they nailed it, and it's comfortable. It's really well done. This is Migaron's. What the hell is it? I forget now. Now that I need to know. What is this? Migaron. Yeah, the Migaron Pagos 2. Very well done. Milled titanium, M390 on the steel, blue anodized hardware. Very cool. And this knife missed. I'll annotate it above. You can scope it out. Spartan Blades Aster, Cold Steel AD10, in case you're wondering. Now that we're done with the 5-minute tangent, this is a good knife. OKnife and a bunch of other retailers really need to get it together on the advertising on the blade. Come up with a emblem, kind of like Kubi, except they don't just do the emblem. Do an emblem and put it on right on the scale, just off the scale on the blade, if you must have something. The Rubato 3, which is this drop point, comes in around 90 bucks, give or take, depending on where you get it, Amazon or off OLight direct. I'll link the Amazon store for the Rubato 3. They have a bunch of different versions. I probably would have went with the all black aluminum, but the green's cool. But that is the first impressions on the OKnife Rubato 3. I think it's pretty good. There's just a few small things I would nitpick and change, and that has to go. You know, do an emblem like Spartan or TRM. Just do the emblem and be done with it. Spartan kind of, they should have put the steel on the back, and this would have been really clean. Just the little Spartan emblem and then the steel and the designer on the back. But, you know, they pretty much nailed it. They like to advertise what steel it is on the front in some cases. But if you hung out for the whole first impressions, I greatly appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up before you head out. Leave me a comment down below. And if you're still here and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Thanks, guys. I will catch you later.